How's it going, everyone? Void Touched here. So we got a new teaser today from Bungie that is all about Savathun. It's like 15 seconds long, as you can see, that is going to tell us, was going to tease us for the live stream they're going to be doing tomorrow, where it's going to be revealed at a much grander scale. Before we get started, let's go ahead and take a look at it. Take that off.
Truth is a funny thing.
All right. Truth is a funny thing. That is correct. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to analyze this trailer now. Take a look at it. First, we have these flowers right here, which a lot of people who didn't play Destiny 1 may not know. When you went to the Garden of Salvation, the Black Garden in Destiny 1, those red flowers were everywhere. So much that they're even in the lore for it, saying the red flowers bloom infinitely. There's a lore card where Uldren, before he meets the Guardian and stuff like that, I believe is when it takes place. He and a few other Awoken actually infiltrate the Black Garden through the Vex Gate on Mars, and they discover a lot of different crazy shit, including the red flowers. Like I think one of them like grows out of somebody's head. No, a crystal grows out of someone's head, and it has all the Black Garden secrets in it. It's really nuts. But so if we continue the trailer on here, these are clearly wings. Her brother Oryx had wings. He had these huge, like, vampiric bat-like wings. There's a whole moth-like aesthetic with the Hive, and it feels like this is just leaning into that more heavily. We have her coming down this walkway into all of this liquid. It almost feels like you would imagine like an elegant queen who's walking down, caressing the sides of her like the banisters or whatever as she's walking into the water. I feel like I've seen it done several times before, and usually the elegant or the beautiful, and they're supposed to have this regal sense to them as they come walking into this water. But this is definitely a lot more sinister. I think this is the most sinister, evil version of this shot that I have seen. We have all of this liquid out here that the green tells us immediately that it is not good. There's a lot of speculation. This is Fundament, which is the planet that the Hive are from. They were a lesser race known as the Krill, and they crashed into this planet, and they existed basically adrift in these poisonous oceans with corrosive rain, or these sentient thunderstorms, like called Thunderjoys or something like that, that would hunt them down, have lightning powerful enough to vaporize anyone it hits. It's nuts. They ventured deep down into the planet. They met the Hive gods, or the three of them. They are the Hive gods. They met the worms, which served the darkness, and that's when they got their worms, and they became the Hive, and this whole thing. So this is Fundament, but Fundament got destroyed in the lore. So this is either a flashback, or it could be one of her war moons. So in the lore, Savathun and Xivu Arath and Oryx didn't necessarily travel together, but they existed together. They conquered together. Oryx would map the scars, Savathun would deceive the races, Xivu Arath would rip them asunder. They were always competing with each other. Savathun would destroy a planet just before Xivu Arath by lying, while Xivu Arath sometimes would come in and destroy a planet to spite Oryx. And they would kill each other as well because the blade logic and stuff like that. That's super complicated. But when they went their separate ways, Savathun, I believe Savathun is the one who took war moons with her and left into a pocket of space. So this is either a flashback to Fundament, or I think this might be one of her war moons where she will be stationed in Witch Queen, and that's where she exists right now. And the way the blade logic works is which is what the Hive follow for their effective religion, is you A blade is meant to be used. A blade is meant to be tested. You are a blade. So if you're not constantly being tested and used to destroy other weaker blades, that are weaker than you, then you are not fulfilling your purpose. That's the blade logic. It very well could be. I feel like it's fundament, but I think a war moon, I think this would be a good indication of a war moon. We have a lot of dead out here. We have a lot of dead Hive. Some of them are definitely larger than others. Because this might be an acolyte and these might be knights. This kind of looks like it has the cresting of a knight's head. Let's see. Get a little... Alright, so what we can barely make out in the background. A lot of people are saying over here, this kind of looks like one of the watchtowers from the Dreaming City. And while I can see the shape of it and its crest, I don't think that is. I do not think this is a distributary, which is the home planet of the Awoken. I do not think that this is anywhere inside of like the Dreaming City or anywhere else there in the reef. I especially don't think that because we go to the exact opposite. We've got a whole lot going on over here. We have these that almost looks like a closed shrieker. This one does, but that one's way too blurry to tell us if even any sort of shape. See if it gets any clearer.
It's a funny thing.
No, let's back it up a few frames. It is a funny thing. Truth is a very funny thing. All right. Savathun looks sick, by the way. The crown that she has, her pauldrons, she's definitely a wizard. Oryx was a winged knight. That's how Oryx operated. Savathun is definitely a wizard. This is definitely a wizard archetype of a Hive, and she's dominant. So anyways, look at this. That still kind of looks like a closed shrieker. We have a little bit of the same silhouette over here in the reflection of the water as well. It's not any more clear. I don't think these are like people or some living creature standing there. So there is this whole concept that we have the darkness on the left and the light on the right. There has been this prevailing theory that has kind of sort of been an undertone of some of the lore cards that Savathun doesn't want to fight. Savathun wants out. She manipulated Crota's brother Nokris, convinced him to side with her over the great worms, the ones that give them their powers and things like that. Because Nokris is a necromancer. Nokris doesn't bring a Hive back through the power of the worm like what the worm gods do. Nokris just straight up used Hive magic to bring Hive back from the dead, which is completely different and completely rare. So Savathun was using Nokris as a way to cause chaos. So we know that Savathun isn't on the side of the darkness. Savathun stopped the darkness from communing with us in Season of Arrivals. At the beginning of that season, the pyramid ship had grabbed us on Io and was drawing the Guardian in for some unknown nefarious purpose. And Savathun's magic literally interrupted that process and cast us back down to the planet where we found Eris at the tree of the silver tree. So, and then Savathun kept attacking the silver tree because the silver tree seemed to be responding to the darkness. There seems to be a lot of situations where Savathun herself is trying to combat the darkness, and we're just in the way. Now, Savathun has outright attacked the Guardians. The Endless Night was a product of Savathun. The Dreaming City and using the Guardians to go kill Riven was definitely something that Savathun machinated with Riven. I just said her name. But there's a lot of things that show Savathun clearly is a antagonist to the Guardians, but not that she is a direct villain, if that makes any sort of contemplative sense. She seems to be more of like I don't want to say a side villain, because she's gnarly. She's up there. Savathun has been hinted at since King's Fall. Actually, a little bit before Savathun was talked about, and we saw some things for Savathun before that. And then when Savathun's influence was definitely shown in the Dreaming City, and then we started seeing Xivu Arath's name all over the place in the Dreaming City. A good chunk of the Hive bosses that we fought in some of the public events or the Broken Courier mission, things like that, were such and such of Xivu Arath. So we definitely have seen some, like, both Savathun and Xivu Arath making big plays in the Dreaming City. This is what's going to bring it all back home. To get a little back on topic with the darkness and the light in these pictures, it could very well be that Savathun stands in the middle. Savathun represents an individual who can wield both the darkness and the light and is morally ambivalent. That is very possible. I don't think that's what's going to be the case. We had a lore card where Savathun mentioned that her worm hungers, and she looked up above the endless night that she'd created in the city. She had infiltrated the city in this lore card, by the way. And it said that she looked up at the night and peered at what awaited her beyond it. And the theory is she's looking up at the Traveler. I don't think the Savathun is going to end up being like a hero. Savathun has done some shit. Eris is not terrified of Savathun, but Savathun is the villain that Eris has been waiting for. Savathun is the one. When Eris and Marasov and the Techians, whenever they all made that plan to attack Oryx back in Taken King, Marasov died. Eris knew the plan. Eris knew that Marasov was going to make a throne world inside of Oryx's throne world. We killed Oryx in the King's Fall raid. Marasov took over. Did not take the power to take. That ended up going to Savathun. Kind of. I don't think Savathun holds the power of the Taken King, Oryx. Savathun was gifted Quiria Blade Transformed, who had replicated the power to take. Quiria was the architect of the curse on the Dreaming City, thus being redubbed Quiria the Dreaming Mind. We met Quiria in that sense in the Truth to Power lore book, where everything's kind of like a choose your own adventure, and we meet Quiria like 2 or 3 times in there. And so the Endless Night just happened in Season of the Splicer, and the very first mission, when you're trying to escape your first splicing mission on Europa, if you were one of the lucky few who didn't get baited by that portal at the end like I did, you were able to stand there and turn around, and there was Quiria, Dreaming Mind, sitting there just kind of chilling while you're being surrounded by all these Hydras. And then you get teleported out, and then you go through the whole storyline. It doesn't tell you it's Quiria, just for those that know the lore, know that's who that is. Quiria looked great, by the way. If any of you ever played Curse of Osiris and saw Panoptes, Panoptes was fantastic, and Quiria looked like that. So now we've killed Quiria at the end of season 15, near the end of season 14. Near the end of season 14, we went back into the Splicer realm, Vex realm, as a Splicer. I can talk. And we killed Quiria. And then we had the final override because Lakshmi had been manipulated to open up a Vex portal by Savathun, whether it be through Osiris or through somebody else. I think it was Osiris, but who knows? It could have been different. But anyways, let me know what y'all think down in the comments. Thanks for hanging out. I'm super excited for Witch Queen's reveal tomorrow. I'm going to be live streaming it over on Twitch. Link is down below. So if you want to come and check it out and hang out with me, please do. It'll be a lot of fun. Thanks for hanging out and checking it out. Y'all have a great day. Like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.